What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Preparing to get out for my morning walk. We often talk to ourselves, so I'm going to try to continue the conversation. But what I was just saying is that knowing God is important. I didn't grow up in church. So I didn't grow up in church. It wasn't get up every Sunday and go to church thing. But somewhere along the way, there was a seed planted within me, whether by my father, my mother telling us to get up on Sunday to go to church, or on Easter, on holidays, or going up to my grandparents' house and hearing grandma get up and go to church in the morning. It was a seed planted. So this thing that I'm doing this is me. It's me healing myself, finding the words that I can speak to others while honoring God. That's the key. What people need to realize is Black men are in pain. This is important. Black men are in pain. I've got some brothers that are coming to me, not thinking that I have the answer, but they're coming and they're pouring out their hearts because they're in pain. Their marriages are in pain. Their finances are in pain. They are in pain. We are in pain. I started this also to heal from my trauma as well. So when I tell you it's deep, I mean it's deep. There's a lot of buffoonery going on online, and we tune into it every single day. We look at this stuff and we get caught up in the Facebook feeds, and we get caught up in YouTube, and we lean on that when that's not real. That stuff, some of that stuff is not real. A lot of that stuff is fake. We all want likes and we all want to be heard. I want to be heard. I want this channel to be successful because I want it to be a vessel to help men particularly. I want men to be able to talk and try to figure out why we are in so much pain. Why are our marriages failing? Why are our finances failing? Why do I get up every single day and go to work and bust my butt only to come home and be miserable? It's because some trauma in our past we have not dealt with. And that's real talk. And this is what we need. I like to laugh and I like to make others laugh. As I walk myself through this, or as I go through this transition of finding myself, hopefully through the help of doing my posts, I want to be real. There are some people out there that's having real conversations, but there's not enough of them having real conversations. And then what can be distracting is celebrities getting on TV, YouTube, and all these platforms and telling their reality. It's not my reality. That's not your reality. That's not John Smith reality on Marlo and Finkel. You know, I get it. The more you have, the harder it gets to maintain and keep up that facade. And I feel sympathy or empathy for multimillionaires who reach levels and status, and then their life it's not what it is. Because to tell you the truth, it's not about the money. I would rather have peace, joy, happiness, and live a good life than have a pocket full of money. Because all money really going to do is pay your bills, and you buy more things that may end up causing you more trauma. It's got to be a balance there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to I'm not going to walk away from $1 million. But when we seek financial gain all our life, and then at the end of the road, you look back and you say to yourself, well, what have I really accomplished? Because you can't take it with you. Now, I don't have children. And that's a whole nother story within itself. But I don't have children because all my life I had to work. I worked hard out of fear. So that I don't end up on poverty or end up stuck back in the hood. So I'm getting up grinding. I didn't play sports. I didn't play video games. I didn't have time for it because I was constantly trying to maintain and make money so that I can live. Now at 55, I look back and say to myself, where are my grandkids? Now I'm married and we got grandkids, which is great, it's a blessing. So God bless you in other ways. But to have your own child, that's truly a blessing. So a little nugget here, any men out here that's listening to this, have children, bear children. There's no such thing of a mistake when it comes down to having a child. And I thank God for my stepson who gave us a beautiful grandbaby. And I thank God for my godson. Those two are why I'm doing this. If I want to survive, if I want to thrive, then I have got to figure out what my problems are and fix them in order to be here to provide for them. So, I ain't put a hat on today, but it's all right. That's what it's about, guys. That's what it's about. My ultimate goal here is, like I said, I want to help men heal. I got a brother, man, who just left the state, and I'm gonna sit down and do a one-on-one with him. And hell, he was going through it, you know. And I'm talking about men need to cry as well. Ain't nothing weak about shedding a tear. Nothing at all. You got to let that out. You got to find a vessel to let it out. Most of the time we let it out in a negative way, and then it's too late. You got to find a vessel to let it out. You know, if you got to sit down and cut on some gospel, cut on some old school, and have a good cry, then you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do. If that's the thing that's going to release that pain, then you have to figure out how to release it. Something I learned years ago. I was a young man. Growing up, my father never said he loved me. He never came and said he loved us to us. We knew, we assumed he loved us because he would come down and, he didn't grow up in the house with us, but he would come down and have conversations with us on a regular basis. You know, my old man kept us informed. He told us and kept us out of jail. You know, because he was a police officer, he would tell you the stories. You know, you don't be out here acting a fool. My mother taught us how to survive, how to hustle, how to get that money, how to work hard. But my father wasn't a man that come up and say, I love you to his sons. But later in life, and I can almost remember the first time hearing my father say he loved me. We were grown, you know, and we were only having a phone conversation. But we have gradually got to the point when we do have a conversation and get off the phone. He's comfortable now saying, I love you, and you can still hear the hesitation in his voice because it's not a natural thing to say. I have a nephew that I helped raise, and I made sure that I told my nephew that I love him as a little boy. Coy right now, my godson, he's just a baby. I tell him that I love you. A man needs to tell his son he loves him in a way he can understand what it is for another man to love a man, and not in that confusing way. So if a little boy is growing up and his father never comes around and the father never says to him, I love you, son, then how would that boy ever know what love is? A mother's love is different from a father's love. It just is. You know, mothers raise daughters, but they coddle sons. People might not like that, but that's just the truth of it. You know, they baby the boys, but a father would teach, only a man can teach a man to be a man. A mother can raise a son, but a mother can't teach a son how to be a man. And what that does is that grow up and it brings a lot of pain, hurt, and trauma from that. So fathers not being in the son's life, that creates a barrier, it creates a problem. And a lot of it ultimately turns out when they get married and grow up, they're doing those same behaviors. They don't know how to love their sons. They don't know how to truly love a woman, you know. And for us in the black community, it's just fact. So you got to ask yourself, you know, what can be done to change that pattern? And what can be done is you have to go through a healing. You know, at some point in your life, you're going to have to find God And you're going to have to go through a healing. You're going to have to make a decision. We can't serve this fleshly body all our lives. You know, when you do, at the end of the road, you might find yourself, you're going to come up short. So you got to make a decision to serve him. You know, try your best to live according to his word. You know, give the type of love that Jesus gave to us. And that's what it's all about, guys. So on this motivational walk, I want to encourage the man to find a safe place, or find a place where you can have a conversation and dig down. And not men, but women too, guys. Women are in trauma as well. You know, and you bring two people with trauma into a relationship, man, it's just gonna be a constant battle. You know, but I can give it to you from a male's perspective. When you think that he don't want more, don't want to do more, it ain't that he lazy. Man, it ain't always that he lazy. You know, don't get me wrong, some lazy people out there, but they're not always because they're lazy. It's because they just don't know how. It's because of their past, their trauma. So you got to try to figure out what happened in your life, and try to fix it. I think I said this in one of my videos, my first marriage, I was struggling hard. I sat down and started writing. I went all the way back into the room and I wrote about everything. And in that writing, I discovered, man, I had a lot of trauma. You know, just growing up in a house with hunger, you know, not knowing if, you know, we didn't eat for weeks at a time. You know, it was cold half the time. We were poor. Didn't want to go to school because you didn't have shoes and clothes. That stuff was real. But here's the thing. It may not be my reality now, but it's the reality for a lot of young black kids today, and it's not getting any better. So you got to ask yourself, what can be done? How can we fix that? How can we heal from this trauma? Just because you can buy a big house don't mean that's going to heal you. Just because you can drive that fancy car, that don't mean that's going to heal you. You're just going to be in a big house driving a fancy car. You're just going to be miserable doing it. So, it's tough, man. It's tough. But the one good thing to know is that God has got you. God has got you. Lean into him. You know, release it. I'm good. But you know what's crazy? I thought I was gooder than God. I was good. I got a lot of stuff done, but I'm not gooder than God. So when you realize that you ain't gooder than God and you let God do what he wants to do, you're going to find out how good life can get. All right, so that's my nugget for today, guys. Do a couple more laps, maybe. And then I'm getting ready for football Sunday, baby. Go Lions, 13-1, Super Bowl champs. That's what it's all about, baby. Getting it in. Getting up and getting it in. Getting it done. We're going to get it done. All right, guys, have a good one.